Michael Kors has beat Coach at its own game of selling luxury handbags at affordable prices. Kors' revenue last year hit $4.7 billion, eclipsing Coach's $4.5 billion, when 3 years ago, Kors had less than half the sales. But now, Coach is mounting a comeback. Can it reclaim its lucrative crown? Here with the story is WSJ reporter Suzanne Kapner. Suzanne, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Coach is certainly a storied brand. I mean, it's been around since the 40s. When did it hit on the strategy of affordable luxury?
It was really in the 1990s when Lou Frankfurt became CEO. He had this idea of sort of a democratic luxury brand, which hadn't really been done before, selling high quality goods, but at prices the average person could afford.
And of course, the European high-end brands sort of looked down with disdain upon this model. Is that right?
They called Coach the McDonald's of luxury.
I love that because, of course, Coach laughed all the way to the bank. It turned out this was a very winning strategy for the company, right?
That's right.
So what happened in the more recent past that caused it to sort of lose this mantle to Michael Kors?
You know, I think they sort of got comfortable with their position. They had this enormous market share. There really weren't any competitors for a very long time. And then within the last few years, you had Michael Kors, Tory Burch, Kate Spade, Rebecca Minkoff. Everybody sort of dove into this handbag market, and they saw, you know, at these prices, $300, $400 for a handbag, there was a lot of business to be had there.
That's sort of the sweet spot, right?
The sweet spot, you know. And Coach kind of, you know, they lost their edge a little bit. They got complacent and they didn't really innovate and stay ahead of the curve.
And recently they showed 2 stores to Coach employees and asked them to pick which one was the Michael Kors store and which one was the Coach store. And some couldn't tell the difference. Is that right?
Well, for about 10 years, the Coach store had, it was, you know, white fixtures, white and chrome, bright light. It had a very distinctive look. And lo and behold, Michael Kors stores looked exactly the same. And Coach would do these presentations, and they'd have a slideshow with Kors and Coach stores and the names obscured. And yes, it's true. Even their own employees couldn't tell them apart.
So, of course, Coach has sort of accused Michael Kors of stealing a page out of its playbook, but Michael Kors also has something that Coach hasn't had until recently, which is a full fashion line, correct?
That's right, because the designer at Michael Kors, you know, Michael Kors himself, is a fashion designer. He gained enormous celebrity as a judge on Project Runway, and he started with ready-to-wear and clothing and then branched into accessories. And for Coach, it was really the other way around.
Right, great clothes. But now Coach has decided to take a page out of Michael Kors' playbook and is going to introduce a fashion line, or has already, right?
That's right. Earlier this year, Coach brought on a new designer several years ago, and earlier this year, he introduced a high-end line called 1941. That's for the year that Coach was founded. And, you know, they're selling $2,000 shearling coats and $900 dresses and, you know, really designer and apparel, and it seems to be doing well.
They look great, and as you said, fashion editors seem to like it. I just wonder whether the woman who comes into Coach to buy that $300 or $400 bag is also going to buy that $2,700 shearling coat.
Well, they're probably targeting 2 different customers there. The thinking is the high-end brand gives a halo to the lower-end products. So, you know, the woman who's buying a $300 bag may not be able to afford the really expensive stuff, but it makes her feel sort of good.
Right.
You know, that
it raises the status
it raises
on the bag.
The status,
yeah.
Right.
All right, that sounds like a good idea. We'll see what happens. Suzanne, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.